with the King and Queen tournament starting up on Raw, I thought it was a great chance to preview and predict what's going to happen at the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. So, let's hit that intro and find out what I feel is going to happen.
Yeah, it's our time to shine. Show that's the kind of state of mind you gotta combine with hard work and time. You gotta climb to the top. Don't let yourself drop till your heart stops. Let this beat rock. Got a new clock and a new stock for this new rock. Just let your mind loose from the new stock. Drunk off the goose, thinking that I'm too pop. Getting caught with a few thoughts cause I'm too lost. Let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up.
Now, first off, we're going to look at Raw, which is the only matches at the time of recording that have been announced. So I made up a little bracket to where the consensus is this is what it's going to look like and put it together. Obviously, it's probably not the right ones, but this is what we got to work with, so this is what I'm going with. So let's look at the first match. Alright, our first match, Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor. This I thought was an interesting one. Two very prominent heels going at it in the very first round. I like it. Two of my very favorite stars right now. But with this one, I got Drew McIntyre going over. I think he's going to go very far. He's going to be a very prominent figure in this tournament. So I really do think Drew goes over Finn in this match.
I know the scars got you feeling all alone.
And now for the next match, another interesting one. Ricochet versus Ilya Dragunov. The new Speed Champion versus Ilya's first official match on the male's Raw roster. A little went back and forth on this one, but I don't think I see Ilya taking a L so early after being drafted to Raw. So I'm going to have Ilya going on to face Drew. Like I said, these brackets, a little bit off, probably a little bit off on my end. We could actually see another matchup with Ilya in the second round, which I personally would love, but it'd be a little AEW-ish because this would be a matchup they would give away on free TV. We'll talk about that a little later, but this time I see Ilya going over Ricochet. And now we've got Kofi Kingston and Rey Mysterio, which could be very interesting because to my knowledge, and after just a quick search, I don't think they've ever went one-on-one. They have had a tag match against each other, but I don't think they've ever been one-on-one. So this could be very interesting and very fun match. But at this point in their careers, Rey is a legend. I think he's definitely moving on. He's definitely beaten Kofi. Kofi is not what he was in 2019 when Kofi Mania and everything. But I got Rey beating Kofi here. And finally, we have Gunther versus Sheamus. This is the one I was talking about earlier with Ilya. If the way the bracket setup is different from what I am, we could, because I see Gunther going over here. I mean, Sheamus taking an L here won't hurt him, and there's no way you have Gunther lose 2 matches in a row like that of big caliber against Sammy and then Sheamus. That would not be smart. So I see Gunther easily going over here with Sheamus. But like I said, if I'm wrong in the brackets, we could possibly see an Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther match on free TV Raw in the second round. That's why I'm thinking the brackets might be the way they are, because I don't see that happening. I see them maybe wanting to put that on a bigger stage, but I also thought I maybe seen that with the Intercontinental title being on the line. That didn't happen either, so who knows? But for this match, I do see Gunther beating Sheamus and moving on to the second round. And there you have it. That's what I feel the first round of the men's bracket of the King of the Ring tournament for Raw is going to end up looking like. Some very interesting matchups. I do like the way the matchup's going on. Like I said, looking at the screen, this is the way I feel they are going to somewhat have the brackets look like. There could be some really fun changes. You could see Drew Gunther. Second round, you could see Ilya Gunther. You could see Rey Gunther. Ilya Drew. But I guess we'll find out more about that on Raw. So now let's get into the women's and see how that one shapes up. Now this is the women's bracket as I might see it happen. This one's a lot harder to predict because it's just a lot less interesting matches, but at the same time more interesting matches. Again, you can probably going to have a difference in how they set up the bracket, but this looks like the most one that makes common sense. So let's look at our matches here. Alright, with our first match, I'm going to pick the easiest one I think to predict. Io Sky versus Natalya. Io's going to go over here. Love Natalya, but at this point in this career, she's a enhancement talent. She's out there to give credible victories to other people, and she can always pull that upset off. So don't be surprised if she does somehow beat Io. But I don't really see that happening. I got Io Sky going over Natalya right here. Alright, now here's one. Shayna Baszler versus Zelina Vega that I went kind of back and forth with depending on what bracket I looked at. And the bracket I decided to go with, I got Zelina Vega going over to meet Io Sky in the next round. There was one that kind of had Shayna and Zoe meeting each other if they both won, but I don't see that. I don't really think that's going to happen. I like this bracket the best of out of all the ones I've seen put together. So I got Zelina Vega, who is the more popular star right now, going to face the heel in the second round. And another one I went back and forth on no matter what bracket I seen them in, even the one I mentioned earlier where Zoe would face Shayna if she won. This women's bracket is very hard to predict. Very, very hard. I'm expecting to be probably wrong on a lot of it. But with Zoe Stark, Ivy Nile, I've still got Zoe Stark going over. Ivy Nile slowly getting up there, but not. I think Zoe's at a higher level. It's a more credible win in a more credible spot for this match. So I got Zoe going on to the next round, defeating Ivy Nile.
You know, you drive me crazy, but I know that.
And with the final match of round one, we got Lyra Valkyria, newly called up from NXT, going up against Asuka. A super, super hard match to pick. Again, another one I went back and forth. This women's bracket just brutal to try to pick a winner, because you do got Lyra Valkyria, her first match on Raw, so you wouldn't think they'd want her to lose that unless they don't have any plans for her. They don't have anybody think being big for her, but if they didn't, they wouldn't put her in this tournament. And then you got Asuka, who is almost a legend at this point. She's multiple-time world champion. She just lost the tag titles. You know, she's, no matter whether she's heel or face, she's immensely over. So who do you get to go here? Who do you get to go here? And I end up having Lyra Valkyria win here, maybe through some way of miscommunication with her and Damage Control to maybe start a split with that group. I hope not. I love Damage Control, but it could be a thing. But I do, at the end, think Lyra Valkyria does get a huge win over Asuka, because it would be a big win for her to get her first victory on the main roster, being as someone of the caliber of Asuka. Yeah, that's where I'm going with that. I'm going Lyra Valkyria over Asuka.
And I need you can save me.
And there are my predictions for the women's tournament for Queen of the Ring for Monday Night Raw so far out of the first round.
And we fall hard.
And there it is, my predictions for the Raw first round of King and Queen of the Ring. Remember, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, drop a comment down below. What are your predictions? Who do you think's going to go? Who do you think's going to win this bracket out of Raw? Tell me, do you agree with my predictions? Do you disagree? And when the matches are announced, I'm going to have a video for the SmackDown tournament as well, taking this all the way up to King and Queen of the Ring in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I believe it's Jeddah. I know it's Saudi Arabia. I got that one. But either way, we're going to be following this all the way up. So keep your eyes open, and we'll see you again.
Watch out, 'cause I'm here now and I'm staying.